Yeah. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Roll call in advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the decks, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity, flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps and I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action. Yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the stack. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire crypto ecosystem, Bitcoin crypto ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live from the OnChain Hour, and this morning is going good, guys. We're going good right now. Bitcoin sitting at 108,294. So this is a big change from yesterday. Yesterday we got down to 106, woke up this morning around 107, and we've been pushing up ever since. This is a really good sign because we are about to enter a 3-day weekend in the U.S. for the stock market. You are seeing the Dow Jones kind of flat today, the S&P up a little bit. So the stock market really isn't doing much. It's the crypto markets that are up. My entire timeline right now is green. So this is really, really good. Really excited to kind of go into this low liquidity weekend because Max Payne is actually forcing the stock guys to open Coinbase accounts. And what do I mean? I mean them, let's just say the Bitcoin price is running. They can't buy ETFs Friday. They can't buy them Saturday. They can't buy them Sunday. So Max Payne would actually be run the price up and force them to buy higher on Monday. And that could create an insane week next week. Really excited for the month of July and kind of going forward here. But I think we all got to be smart, right? We all got to understand that this could be the bottom here, or it could be, in August. But I do believe that the way crypto Twitter is, there's nobody here. Like this got to be the bottom. Maybe not for price, but for the amount of people that are here. We need to get people in again. We need to get people excited. And the number one way to do that is number go up. We start with Bitcoin and run everything up. But we had a lot of big news today. We're gonna got some ETF stuff that's really cool. Solana, Cardano, and XRP are now trading on the stock market. We're going to get all that information for you guys. But without further ado, bring our partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up,
man? So you got a new look, but how you feeling, bro?
Yeah. Forgot to put some aftershave on. It's been so long. No, I wanted a little bit of a clean start, maybe get some good juju going to flip the price, and it looks like it worked. No, today is I feel like the energy's here, even though crypto Twitter does seem like it's still a little bit absent, right? I think it will come back as the sentiment comes back a little bit stronger. But today's goal, in my opinion, for Bitcoin is to really get to 109. We've really bounced off of like the 108 and not quite getting to 109, but like that high 108 range. And we've gotten rejected twice. And I really thought this morning we were going to get rejected, because we did in the short time frames, but we're back now. We've, hit today's high at 108,300. It's exciting because there's a lot of catalysts, a lot of good news. You've been saying the past couple of days, what's going on? There's all these good headlines, but Bitcoin's not reacting the way it should. Let's see if it does today, because a lot of the indicators too, the setup is good. The setup is great. The 4 hour looks great. The hour, a little, overextended for the buy side, but hey, we needed that to kind of get to where we are right now. So I don't know, man. I feel pretty good. It is going to be a major goal, hitting like 1095, trying to knock on the door 110, I should say. That would be a success, a big success.
Yeah, 100%. And the news has been so good for Bitcoin, so good for crypto. And we're just not seeing that happen. But it's kind of very similar to what we've seen in 2020. Again, we had all these amazing headlines, right? They were printing the dollar like nonstop. We were in zero interest rates, but Bitcoin didn't run until December. So it's almost like we had to let all this stuff kind of bake in, and then Bitcoin pops out the oven like, what's up? But let's jump into some stuff here. First, we got some housekeeping stuff real quick. So we've been doing something for the Bitcoin community members. So we started this Bitcoin community. OnChain Revolution community over here. So 53 members now. We're up almost 50% from yesterday, which is awesome. And what I'm doing is I'm going in here and I'm taking all the names that join this, and I'm just kind of going to members. So I'm taking every name here and adding it to this wheel. So if you are in there, you are on here. So there's 51 members here minus a couple accounts. I think me, you, and the OnChain Revolution account I took out. So everyone is on here. So let's give this thing a spin.
Let's do it. Good luck, guys.
And I did send out the winner his fluid pass yesterday. Let's go. That's Hydro Sapien, bro.
Yep.
So, guy, congratulations to you, my friend. And I'll reach out to you on X and get your Taproot address, and I'll send you over a fluid pass. But congratulations to you, my friend.
Absolutely awesome. He's someone I feel like kind of earned it too, right? He's always in the chat and stuff like that. So we appreciate your support.
100%, man. But let's kind of get into today's leading topic here. Bitcoin set to explode. Blue chip ETF momentum builds. Trump's bill clears Senate. So we do know that the bill, the big beautiful bill, has been ping-ponging between the Senate and the House. And I think we just cleared the Senate for the second time in a week.
Yeah, it's well, I mean, there's a lot of these headlines that get kind of like mashed together too, right?
Yeah.
Like the Genius Act, that ping pong back and forth, right? You know, the House committee had to prepare it, got it to the Senate, they finally passed it back to the House. So it's like this is on repeat. Everybody's thinking that this is pretty much like a shoe-in at this point, though, for the big beautiful bill. Obviously, there was amendments and stuff like that happened. But at the end of the day, the one thing I think everybody that are in some sort of financial market can agree upon is that this should stimulate the economy by bringing this much liquidity and capital back into the U.S. economy. So we'll see how it reacts, because the thing too is that this passing alleviate some of the negative sentiment and stuff that about waiting on Powell to cut rates, right? So this is a positive, and this actually, along with some other news we'll get into, could kind of push the Fed to actually cut this month. We'll see.
Yeah, 100%. Second part of this headline is SEC approves conversion of Grayscale's digital large cap fund into an ETF holding the following cryptocurrency. So what is the Grayscale digital large cap fund? Well, it's an index fund brought up with Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and ADA. So we officially have an index fund on the stock market that is an ETF form, right? So think of it as like the S&P 500 for crypto. Think of the Dow Jones Industrial, but for crypto. And shout out to Watcher Guru, because they were one of the first people to come out with this. But if you guys want, just go to watcher.guru, and this is one of the first things there. But the USSC has approved conversion of the Grayscale digital cap. And I originally thought that this was a mistake. I thought, no, I know the SEC acknowledges stuff, but they haven't accepted anything. But this isn't like its own ETF. Like XRP isn't getting its own ETF with this. Solana's not getting its own ETF. This is a basket of current cryptocurrencies, the 5 of them, all wrapped up. I mean, it's weighted heavily on Bitcoin and Ethereum, but there is exposure to these 3. But you could always buy this as a trust. So I don't know if this is really going to push crypto to like these assets into like upward momentum. This is big because now they're in ETF form, but you could always buy this as a fund.
Yes. So my first thought is, first of all, I actually do like this because it's attractive. Index fund of like the major blue chips is an attractive product.
Yeah.
I think it's attractive to people that maybe are a little bit lost, right? And say, okay, we know that these are blue chips. This seems kind of safe, right? Second thought, is this going to be a part of like an offering on chain? I think it has to come over, like, you know what I mean? Something like this, at least if not this product exactly, something similar. The third thing is a question for you. Are you happy with the ones that are in this index fund?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, I can't argue against
all deserved it. You think
the top 5? I mean, I can't argue against the top 5, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's not. I mean, you know, XRP Sol, they're fighting back and forth for that number 4 spot, right behind USDT, and then ADA's right there. But I don't even think we can count USDT. If you would go through the top 5 cryptocurrencies, these would be a top 5, and I can't argue against market cap.
Yeah. Is this something that you would, you know, kind of passively, not be super aggressive with, but kind of add to it over time? You know, okay, this is kind of for like, you know, a fund that I feel like I'll see grow over the next 10, 15, 20 years.
No, it's not enough X's for me for that situation. I mean, there's not, right? Like I don't like, the only one I would really get into is Ethereum right now because I'm just so bullish on Ethereum. But for me, I like to pick and choose. I like to pick and choose my assets. But this is great for like older people,
yeah,
like people in their 60s and 70s
safe.
want to safe bets. This is a very safe fund. I'm not like, to me, it's, you know, I pay attention to the markets. I'm here every single day, so I feel like I can pick and choose the winners in the next couple months, right? I feel like I can pick the winners in the next couple years. These will be winners, but they're not gonna. I mean, XRP is maybe a 7x from here, right? It's so this cycle, Sol's maybe a 7x, Bitcoin is maybe a 4x, you know, Ethereum's maybe a 10x, right? So very safe, but I'm looking for those hundreds. I'm looking for those 200x's.
Is this something that like you know, retirement fund managers could possibly start to roll in though? So for example, like the traditional 401k, right? You could have that option where you can manually go in there and you say there'll be like a button that says, you know, this is the access that they give them from the digital asset world is this product or something like that.
So last time I did a 401k, I had a bunch of options. It was like risky, non-risky, and stuff like that.
A little curve thing, right?
Yeah, and it asked me where I want to be. This does seem to be something in there for like the 20 to 25-year-olds, right? This is like this would be in there because this is still considered risky to a lot of people, right? So I can't see fund managers saying getting to this. They'd probably put your 50, 60-year-old into Bitcoin. Maybe 1% into Ethereum, and then, but this is something for like the 18-year-old first getting his job, the 20-year-old, right, first time getting that 401k. I feel like those guys would push them into something like this, but it's better than nothing. So
yeah, I think if someone's there to advise them, I think 18 is so young that they probably wouldn't be able to do it on their own unless they're really just like, you know, ahead of the game. But I do agree with like that kind of like mid-20s that doesn't have too much education on digital assets. They would feel kind of smart and be like, I need some exposure to digital assets, and this gives that option to them.
Yeah, and if you know, I remember my 401k company at my last job was this old 90-year-old man came in. And he was like, "Oh, I think you should do iShares." And I was like, "Get out of here, bro! Like, I'm good with your damn bonds. I don't want no damn bonds in my portfolio." But let's move along here. So yeah, that was the biggest news of the day. So the SEC is reportedly considering a simplified listing process for crypto ETFs that would automate much of the approval process. So the SEC is like, we don't want to do this on a daily basis. We don't want to get these questions. We're going to put in an automated system, and if your paperwork passes, you get listed in 75 days. So under the proposed structure, issuers could potentially skip the lengthy 19B4 application process and list within 75 days as long as your paperwork passes the necessary. You're going to have somebody just reading through the paperwork really quickly, and if everything is there and everything's aligned, you're going to get an ETF. So potentially, you might see thousands of crypto ETFs pass this paperwork. I mean, it could really happen.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to have their checks and balances, though. It won't be as strenuous as the way they do it now, but you still, in my opinion, you don't want thousands of cryptocurrency ETFs. You
Why
probably
not?
still, because I think you still want the stronger ones to be like, the ones that get through. And it doesn't have to be this methodical, asinine process of checking every single thing like 5 times and then all these things. But I think you do want to have a certain level of respect of getting into like the ETF, right, in terms of like market cap, longevity, the stuff that they look for. Because at the end of the day, if there's a hype project that you can run your market cap up to $1 billion last cycle easy, and then they apply for ETF, then and they have their paperwork in line, but then they just don't have like the fundamentals behind it, right? Obviously, we're talking about like most of these are chains or like really large like projects that have tokens. So I don't know. I'm more in the camp that like I still want there to be like a pretty selective process, but the process of getting on there doesn't have to be so strenuous.
Does it matter anymore though? The stocks are coming on chain. Like
I think so,
it
because
doesn't. I don't think it does. Because think about this. Like if Farcoin, for instance, like if somebody wanted to go into the ETF and get a Farcoin ETF, why not? Right now, they're considering meme coins as collectibles. There's collectibles on the. You can get a collectible ETF right now that has Beanie Babies and shit in it, right? So
yeah,
why can't you
does
get
that
a Farcoin
exist?
ETF? Yeah.
Does that exist? Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that there's a Beanie Baby ETF.
Well, there's a
Really?
collectibles for that stuff. Yeah.
I'd have to look into that. But
dude, if you look into ETFs, there's some insane shit in there. There's like oil and this like oil with the mixtures of like different stuff and helium and stuff like that. You can get a whole bunch of weird shit in ETFs.
Those are like chemical compounds and stuff that
difference between
exists.
that and Farcoin.
Well,
It exists.
One's a resource. One's
Farcoin can be considered a resource.
Not the same way. Like helium, you use for like hot air balloons. You use it for this and that. And
use
oil.
Farcoin to buy Tesla.
Yeah, but that's a different thing. You could.
I don't think so.
Use that as any situation. But look, you have for companies that want to do an ETF or something like that. Then first of all, companies doing it doesn't work, right? It has to be like an actual asset, not like a company behind it, right? Isn't that how they work?
Yeah. Well, but why would that's one thing I don't understand about like an XRP ETF. Like there's a company Ripple behind it. It's not decentralized, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it doesn't make any sense. Cardano doesn't make sense as an ETF.
Yeah, going back to your point of like everything's going to come on chain anyway, stocks and stuff. But I think there should be different categories, right? Like right now you have penny stocks, you have pink what are they called, pink slip stocks or whatever, that like it's like hitting the lotto. If they got down there, they kind of work their way up if they become successful down the line. And then you have your more respectable like categories. I think that will probably gear more towards that, but everything's going to be available. It's just going to be like levels of risk.
I just think that there's no more gatekeeping. If somebody wants to invest in something, let them.
Yeah,
it's a big deal.
Yeah, so, they just might have like a little asterisk next to it or something.
Yeah, I mean, think about the penny stocks and stuff. Like anyone can go go public these days, right? I mean, you're seeing it left and right. So, but move along here. U.S. June ADP non-farm payroll actual. So this came in this morning. So they were estimating 99,000 new jobs entering the U.S. Right. The prior last month was 37 new jobs. It actually came in negative. So instead of adding jobs, private employers cut about 33,000 positions in June. It's the first monthly decline since March 2023 and a sharp turnaround from the modest gains earlier this year. This is a big deal because when this happened, we seen the poly market Fed decision went from 88 down to 79. And then we seen the one in September. So that's July. And then the one in September, I mean, this is almost but guaranteed now, 62%.
Yeah. Yeah, 62% yes, as the other one was 79% no, right, for July?
Yes. Yeah, so
but to your point, no. I mean, it dropped almost 10 points, right? So because this is one of his excuses that he pulls out, right? He's like, well, if the job market looked a little different, then we could consider rushing that or whatever. Well, the job market looks different now, right? So he's going to get that question whenever they speak this month. After they make the decision. And what's the date? July 30th, right? So we have this entire month for them to make this decision. He's getting a ton of pressure from every which direction. And I would love to be a fly on the wall in the meetings between him and Trump, because Trump says that he was in my office the other day. I wonder what that sounds like. It's probably pretty hysterical.
And remember, we still have a CPI, right? We get a couple more jobs numbers throughout this month. We get CPI, we get PPI. It's a CPI and a PPI are lower, even with the tariff, frenzy that we're having. And I'm not noticing anything that's like skyrocketing in price or anything. I do believe that we're going to see this closer and closer get to about 50% for July. I think it's going to be like 60-40, and that'll allow them to really vote on it. And Trump can kind of see who's voting on what, right? Especially when the Fed minutes come out, and kind of see who has Trump's back and who doesn't, because it is getting political now at this point. Powell saying it's not, this is all data driven, and we'll see if the data goes the other way and he still doesn't make a decision.
Yeah, absolutely. There are people that are saying it's starting to get political. We don't know what's going on in their brains. But one thing we do know is that there's a lot of people calling for these cuts now, saying, hey, look, the evidence has come out, at least up until this point, and the economy looks strong. And we just need to get interest rates down, because we're going to have to pay a lot for interest, right, as a country. So that's the thing that's not being amplified by the news, but we'll see what happens here in the next month or so, because we got about 28 days until this happens, at least the decision. But this is the first time, I think, that like there've been people that said, hey, I'm, within their organization that said, hey, we're for cutting in July. Like, I think 2 people came out and said that, right? So it'll be interesting to see what
of the 7 top voters or whatever it was. But like, people don't understand how debt works, right? It's so you issue debt, like you don't just print money, you issue debt, right? And then that's the money that they have. So they sell bonds into the market, and people, this is so funny. You'll go on TikTok and stuff, and people be like, who do we owe money to? Like, can't we just
the Fed?
Well, no, we don't owe money to the Fed. We owe money to the bondholders.
So to the bondholders, but the Fed earns money off of our interest too, though. It's a separate entity. It's so a separate. So it's good for them whenever they're making money off of interest. My understanding, when I looked into
that doesn't make any sense.
That's why they're privatized. That's why they're privatized. It's because that's why they can't. The president can't fire the chair.
The Federal Reserve doesn't make money. So, like, what they do is they're able to print. They're able to print money. I mean, they're able to issue bonds. So those bonds come in. When they sell those bonds, they're able to get money on the other side. So when we're $36 trillion in debt, we have $36 trillion in bonds that are in the market.
Yeah,
that we owe interest on. So the reason you buy a bond, the reason you buy government debt is to earn whatever the interest rate is, and the interest rate is 4.4%, right? So we owe money to China. So all these countries,
we owe money to all those countries
USDT.
For sure.
So Tether is one of the biggest buyers of bonds. Why do they buy the bonds? Because they're able to safely get a percentage of yield owning US dollar and backing the Tether tokens by that debt.
Yeah. It says the Fed generates income primarily through interest earned on assets like U.S. Treasury securities and mortgage-backed securities. So they're earning off of that interest when the interest is high. They're definitely earning.
But the problem is, so they have a purse that they're able to go in. So the money doesn't go to the chairman. They're able to go in and buy bonds in the market. So they earn money, but that money can only be used to buy bonds into the market.
Yeah,
they can only issue bonds and buy them back. That's the only thing that they can do.
Yeah. I mean, they have a self-interest though. Here is what I'm trying to say. Now, will they draw it out to be like, the continued focused gold? No, they can't, because then they'll be under scrutiny big time. Their main primary goal is not to earn off of this, but they do earn off the interest.
They don't earn nothing. So that's the thing. They have a pile of money. But again, that money can only be used to buy bonds. It's not like they can go buy office supplies or buy a new building with it. That money can only be used to go into the market. So they have a stockpile of cash right now. You are right on that. But they are earning. But the only thing they can do with that cash is buy bonds from the market. And that is called quantitative easing. And we haven't entered yet. They're still tightening, which means they're still selling bonds. They're still creating dollars by creating bonds and selling them into the market. And people go into the market and buy debt.
Yeah, I mean that's where they earn their money, is off of these securities, mortgage-backed securities
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I mean, I'm reading directly off of the AI
Yeah.
explanation here, but yeah. So with that being said, you know, people have been saying, I've seen it in headlines, that you know that's one of the reasons too, is because they benefit from higher interest, like the Fed. But I don't think that would keep them from continually doing it, because, like I said, under
Saying
scrutiny.
benefit is hard though, because they can only stockpile cash. It's not like they can use that cash for anything but
I
bonds.
mean, they use it to cover Fed operating expenses and pay interest on the reserves that commercial banks hold at the Fed. Any remaining income is remitted to the U.S. Treasury. So
Yeah, but
they,
the treasury can only be used for U.S. opportunities, right? It's not like the Fed can come in and say, "Hey, we're
other than
buying, we're giving
other than
everyone a raise." That's
well,
not
yeah, they
how it
could, because
works.
that's considered operating expenses, though. So they
No.
could.
Their salaries are determined by Congress.
Yeah, but they can use that income to cover Fed's operating expenses. Is my point? Is that is salaries, because you're operating. That's considered an operating expense.
Yeah, but they can't give themselves a raise. Only Congress can.
Oh yeah, but they can request it and all that stuff based off
Yeah,
of
but you can.
what they're
Yeah,
earning and all that stuff. That's why I feel like we should get rid of the Federal Reserve, because
yeah.
there is this weird kind of relationship between our government and this privatized slash almost to the public. Everybody, if you ask any regular person, they would think that they're part of the government. You know,
Yeah,
so
I mean, that's what it sounds like. But let's move along here. SEC Chairman Paul Atkins says tokenization is an innovation, and the agency is committed to advancing it. So this is another thing. Again, we just talked about they want to push the approval process for ETFs. Just 75 days. Let's get as much ETFs in there as possible. You want an ETF? Pass the paperwork, right? It's just going to be an automated system. There's going to be someone who just stamps it and says you passed or you failed, right? That's it. And I love Paul Atkins. He's such a breath of fresh air compared to Gary the Gun, right? Who was enforcement destroyer of crypto. But I don't know. I just love this SEC, and I love Paul Atkins right now.
yeah, this is a big deal. We've seen kind of what the reaction is been, right, with the addition on Solana, and we're gonna see how this plays out. I'm sure they're taking it this like kind of slowly in terms of how it's gonna sustain. Right, they're excited about it, but like this is new. This is new ground for everybody, like especially the Web3 side, but like even more so on the TradFi side. But they're very calculated on that side, so they wouldn't do this unless it was a pretty solid product and rollout.
Yeah, 100%. And tokenizing everything is kind of what everyone's saying now. Before it was by a small portion of people. You had your Cynthia Loomis, you had Hester Pierce, but now it's feeling like Paul Atkins has joined that party, and the entire SEC is like, okay, like this is the new this is the new internet, this is the new thing. It's something that we've seen for a long time, but they're finally seeing it, and we're early, so it's pretty awesome.
Yes, sir.
All right. The U.S. M2 money supply hits an all-time high of 21.94 trillion. So this is insane, because this is just the U.S. M2 money supply, and we haven't even entered quantitative easing. We're actually still tightening, which means we're going in and selling bonds into the market. So it's wild. We haven't even started using all that money that we have in the Federal Reserve to come in and start buying bonds out of the market, which is going to drop interest rates of bonds and force a lot of these people who are getting these high yields to come in and say, oh, I need a better way to make money. I'm not okay with this 2% because I'm losing to inflation. I need to buy stocks. And what happens when they buy stocks? That's a trickle down effect. It means people start getting more and more. Dude, this is about to explode. And the M2 money supply chart. So this is the global M2 money supply chart, right? So this is we're still waiting for an updated chart from Colin, but pretend that this thing up here is at an all-time high right now, and pretend that this one right here is over at 108. So we're in July now, so we're about right here. So we are coming back up now, and potentially we should get a ramping up soon. This deviation did happen, but we have seen deviations in the past, but they always seem to catch back up, and it does feel like we're going to be catching up really soon.
Yeah, and there's a lot of catalysts that are going to help us catch up, right, and get back on track. And I'm still in that camp that this is a good indicator to follow, even though we touched 98K. We rebounded. That was completely headline driven, based on a global event that you couldn't really help.
Yeah.
Right. And the rebound was amazingly strong in just the very next day or day and a half. Or sorry, I should say probably about 2 days afterwards. So for us to, get back after this deviation, looks pretty bullish. And then you look at historical data, right? July has historically been a good return month for risk related assets, right? So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that can still give us like a pretty decently bullish summer. Maybe pause a little bit and then really ramp it up for Q4.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I'm really excited to start really looking into potential huge run up here and looking into assets that could 100x. I mean, that's definitely something that dude, I'm getting really bullish right now just looking at this. I feel like we're about to shoot up, man. I feel like it's gonna happen in the next couple weeks.
How's your alts looking? Are they green now?
Yeah, they're definitely green today. I mean, look at this, all green. So we have Dog up 7% today, Towel up 2.5%. Fluid up 3%, Magic Eden up 4%, Virtuals 8%. So it's definitely looking good. I'm sure the crypto bubbles are going to look really good too. But to me, I want this. I love this. This is the chart that I love more than anything in the world. That is a DXY, and that is being below 97. This, I mean, look at this line right here, dude. Every time, look at this. Bull run. Right back here, below this was what? The double bull run, right? So it's just like, we're about to enter, dude, and we're in the very beginning stages of that. Let's go back to where it lasts. Like, let's go back to 2020 here and see kind of where it dropped below that 96 was June of 2020, bro. Like, I'm really thinking that we are in 2020, technically part of this bull run. Like, I mean, it looks that way. And if this is true, we're going to have 1, 2, this is the monthly candles, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, potentially 13 months before we hit the bottom. And if that happens, dude, that's a bull run that we've never seen before. And again, that puts me into thinking the high is next May.
Yeah, well, if it does play out like the 2020 year, then that means we kind of finish the year strong and then leads into a really strong spring of 2026. And then, see how long that gets extended, right? Remember, we're still kind of in this unfamiliar territory in terms of what's happening this cycle that's different. Every cycle, there's something different. This cycle, I think, is probably one of the most in terms of entities, nation states, all that stuff. We talk about it every day on the show, but it's a fact. And we'll see what that changes in terms of the bull run experience.
Yeah. I'm thinking January could be where ETH does like a 3x. Like, I think so in 1 month. But if I told you ETH had an insane Q2, would you believe me?
Of 2026?
Of 2025. Like right now.
Like, probably not.
I mean, look at this, dude. This is showing different. Up 36%.
Yeah.
In Q2.
I think
I was shocked, dude.
It got beat down pretty bad in Q1.
It was down to 1,300 in Q1, right? We were down 45% in Q1. And then 36. But again, dude, this kind of looks like 2020 a little bit here, where we did have huge, Q2, and then an even bigger, the same Q3, and then even bigger Q4. So this kind of puts it in your area too. So let's just say we do have another 50%. That means Ethereum sitting around 3,500, and let's say we have 100% from there. That's 6,000 Ethereum by Q4. And let's just say we go into Q1 and potentially get like 300% there. You got 18,000 Ethereum, which that's kind of my area what I'm kind of thinking. So,
well, if Ethereum is going to do with what a lot of these pundits or respected people like Tom Lee and other people that are entities actually that are kind of pouring into it, whether it's Sharp Link or whoever, then we should probably expect at a certain point that it gets hyperactive. But it's just so eerie how like you have all these like entities and stuff that are pouring into it, but yet it hasn't made that move yet. Yes, you could say whenever it did move to 4K in Q4 of last year, that was a pretty big move for it, but it still didn't feel like, it's on, you know what I mean? But I do think because of that pent up demand of that experience is going to probably look pretty crazy, so maybe exploding past like 4K, getting straight to like 5,500 or something like that could be on the table, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But I'm expecting fireworks, but that's just because of how many, of these big figures are talking about it and talking about how much they're investing into it and all this stuff.
Think about this though. If you wanted to accumulate Ethereum, what strategy would you use? I kind of know the strategy that I would use. What would you use if you want to accumulate Ethereum right now at cheap prices? What strategy would you use?
Very, very low leverage swing.
Well, you can do that. Or no, this is what you would do, right? You would sell down Bitcoin in large amounts to keep the price dropping, and then keep buying Ethereum, right? So what does that do?
Because
You sell down Bitcoin,
you get it cheaper.
You pull Ethereum down, and you're able to keep accumulating. So you're selling Bitcoin and buying Ethereum, and this is what's happening. BlackRock spot ETF bought 22,000 Ethereum worth 54 million yesterday. So we do know that BlackRock is advising their clients, right, to potentially buy Ethereum. So the BlackRock ETF is like 50% BlackRock clients. The rest of it is open stock market. So BlackRock is advising their clients, and they don't even need to advise their clients. A lot of them are just saying, hey, we trust you. Do what you need to do. BlackRock is buying Ethereum right now. 22,000 Ethereum, July 1st, bro. July 1st. But that's not it, though. The U.S. spot Bitcoin ETF ends its 15-day inflows streak with 342 million in outflows. Again, it shows you that BlackRock is having their clients sell down Bitcoin, which drops the price of Ethereum. And then look at this, July 1st, while Ethereum ETF record $40 million in inflows. So they're doing the strategy I just said, selling down Bitcoin and accumulating ETH.
I mean, it's smart, right? Yeah. Especially BlackRock's an entity that, like all these entities, fund managers and stuff, if they have no emotions involved, right? To them, it's all making profit for them, and obviously, the product is for their client base, their book of business, right? And so if they're playing this game to where they feel like, okay, alt season's going to happen at some point, we got to roll into Ethereum. They're doing it in a way to where it's not noticeable, and it's not like ticking off tipping off, I should say, retail whales or anything that, okay, we're in alt season right now. They're doing it in a very strategic way. It makes a lot of sense, but it also probably makes sense for a pretty strong, thrust up as well. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Go ahead.
BlackRock wants governance of Ethereum. They do. And it's in order to get governance of Ethereum, you need to hold 51%. And I think BlackRock eventually gets 51% through all of its clients. Think about that for a second, right? If you advise the richest people in the world, and you advise them all potentially, hey, we're going to be selling down your Bitcoin right now, and we're going to be buying Ethereum. I think TradFi is about to finally start understanding what proof of stake is, because I don't think they understand the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum yet, but I think they're about to learn, and I think they're about to start watching and paying attention to what BlackRock's about to do. BlackRock's going to hold 51% of Ethereum, not directly, but through its clients.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, do you feel like that turns institutions on a lot more to Ethereum because they're able to directly earn without, getting involved with a mining facility, without, investing money into power and all this stuff? For them, they just buy a ton of Ethereum and stake it. You know what I mean? Now, I know the ETF situation is a little murky right now, but I think they're going to roll out a product too, right? To where you can do that.
They will.
Right? So
yeah, staking products are coming, and that's when they wake up to it, right? But BlackRock wants to accumulate before that position, because it's gonna entice a lot of people to come into Ethereum, but they already want to hold a good portion of it, and that is what's happening right now. That is, in my opinion, is why crypto is being manipulated right now. It's so BlackRock can get 51%, but this is not terrible, right? So let's just say Ethereum does get centralized by BlackRock. So TradFi likes trust. And they trust these companies, right? We in crypto, we don't want to trust. We don't want to trust. We want to verify. We want to blockchain. We want to check blockchain. But TradFi, they're okay with trusting Larry Fink, right? They've been doing it their whole lives. So I think they'll come in by the millions once BlackRock has 51% of supply, because then they're going to be like, well, BlackRock has our best interests. BlackRock, they've been doing it forever, and I think that's okay. I'm not like crazy about them centralizing the chain, but they're not going to want to destroy something that they hold a great.
That's a moneymaker, and that's a moneymaker for them, and the way the model works with the staking mechanism, it's like a perfect product for like huge giants like them. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. And to Tom Lee's point, You know, this is probably why he's saying Ethereum's the next Bitcoin, is because that
Yeah, he's
opportunity
saying it.
of being able to, you know, have that much and control matters, and there's kind of an arms race with that a little bit, but also more of the fact that it's just a straight, easy mechanism of staking to earn. If anybody can hold up a Ponzi, it's these entities, and they can build the product. I'm not saying that that's what it is, but my point that I'm making is they can make this into a robust, like, passive income product and really sell it down to their client level.
Well, I don't even think it's about making money. I think it's about control. I think they want to control Coinbase, which is the base chain. If you own Ethereum, you technically control Coinbase. If you own Ethereum, you technically control Robinhood and Arbitrum and Optimism, right? Because they're all getting rolled up on Ethereum. So you can change the governance to benefit what is your best interests, right? In a lot of different ways.
You mean like change the governance in terms of like how L2s interact with it and all these things?
Not change governments, but modify it into ways that their clients can make money.
Modify means change.
Well, so when I think of change, I think of just changing how the change, like going from proof of work to proof of stake. That was a change.
Like you're talking about subtle
modifications,
little change that benefits them.
Exactly.
But you don't see it unless you're like looking between the lines, basically, is what you're saying.
You'll see a hard fork happen, but you won't really look into it completely and see.
But you'll see them complain, like the entities that get affected by it. But they'll be able to work with them and figure something out. I mean, like, I don't even want to get into this conversation because it reminds me. It reminds me of where they came from.
100%. That's what they want. They don't want change. They want an upgrade, right? That's all they want. And they see Ethereum as an upgrade. But I think it's okay because you're going to see a lot of these core members leave the Ethereum core because they don't like the changes that are being made. And they're going to go off and create really cool decentralization, right? So by using Ethereum in the future, you're going to be using this corporate blockchain chain. But I think that's okay. I don't think it's terrible because there will be other options for you if you don't want to go that route.
That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest difference for the public or the audience that's listening in. You might be hearing what we're saying and saying this is horrible, this sounds disgusting. Well, you got to remember, you can always go back to Bitcoin for true self-sovereignty in terms of like your assets and all decentralization and stuff like that, or you can go to different areas. There's options. That's the difference.
100%. All right, so Bitcoin percent supply on exchanges just dropped again. We just talked about it last week, and it was dropping. It is significantly dropping now. Look, wait till you see this line, dude. Look at this. The last time we checked it, it was like 75. Now it's below 5,000% balance of exchange. So we're below 5%. But like Bitcoin's not even going up, but this is just dropping. So, dude, last week it was here, and now we're down here. And look what happened last time. You saw Bitcoin's price absolutely just go up. So,
yeah, I like that correlation. That's for sure.
Yep. So I'm really excited about. I mean, dude, if this just keeps dropping, I mean, you think about it too. It's like a lot of the Bitcoin is on Prime, which means it's not even on exchanges like it's OTC. So really, really crazy stuff there. All right, let's move along here. Let's get into the crypto fear and greed here. All right, so, and I was not ready for this. Okay, so last week we were at a 48. Yesterday we were at a 50. We're a little lower than last week's 48.
46.
Boom. On the nose there. So
it's going to be a good day.
So do you feel like yesterday was 46?
I mean,
like kind of in the 50s.
Well, you're going off of this morning, right? And overnight and stuff. That's the thing about our space, man. Time is so relative to price action, right? So it's like, yes, it feels good now, but I'll tell you, let's say, heading into the evening, it probably didn't feel so great, right? And then today feels good. So we'll see.
Yeah. I wish there was a number where it was like to the minute, right? Like
a running sentiment
clock. Yeah, that'd be cool. Depending on like the buys and the sells and stuff. I'm sure there's something out there. I guess got to research it, but that is your fear and greed. But let's jump into the Bitcoin price section. I have a new video for you today. You ready?
Let's see what he got.
What's the price of Bitcoin? It's 107,432 right now.
What's the price of Bitcoin?
1,432 and climbing.
What'd you think?
I think you're getting better at like creating like scenarios. It was fun. I don't know if we should use that every day. Well, you can't because the price is definitely
I
different.
know. That's what the price was when I made it that other day. But yeah, so
But
I'm
you're
getting better at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting better. I only get 3 a day, so I don't really have much to practice with. So, but I'm definitely getting better. I'm going to keep making them. But let's kind of get into the Bitcoin price action here. Brought to you guys by Artura.finance. Artura, they're building really amazing perp decks on Botonics. The Botonics is the first chain they're doing, but using Artura.finance on Botonics is going to get you, they said it yesterday, you're going to earn Bitcoin, guys, from Botonics. Botonics is giving away Bitcoin to incentivize their chain. It's something that we kind of thought for a while, but now we're 100% sure you're going to be earning their gas token, which is Bitcoin, on Botonics when you use Artura.finance. When you make trades on Botonics, you're actually earning their incentive. Guys, go over to Botonics and start using it. And Artura is going to be dropping very soon. And when they do, make sure you guys are using low leverage, low money, and air farming that Artura token, the ARA token, and the Bitcoin from Botonics, guys. You definitely want to do that. But not only will it be on Botonics, they're actually on Hemi, and Hemi is live now. But Hemi is saying that they're going to do an airdrop of the Hemi token, which is potentially backed by Binance and could get listed on Binance early in the very early days of Hemi's token launch. So when you guys use Artura, you're going to be earning the ARA token, but not only that, the Hemi token. There's a lot of different scenarios here where you guys can make a lot of money by basically just using the product. And definitely want to head over to Artura.finance.
Yes, sir. Super excited for them and their partner chains that they're going to be launching on. It's exciting times, guys. Exciting times. But help us out here on the YouTube side. Smash that like for us and then subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. And then on the X side, let's share the space, guys. Let's get as many people in here as possible. We know you will because you guys are awesome. And then same thing on the abstract side, guys. Let's get into some Bitcoin price action. I got a level that I think that we definitely need to hit and rise above before I feel really, really bullish. But this is the level right here, right? You saw that like we didn't quite reach it the first attempt. We got to, this is the hour chart, by the way. We got to 108,500. So kind of where we are right now. The second one that we got rejected at was, it wicked up to like 108,800, right? And so seems like we're heading there. I think we break above this and we get some, room. Let's say we get to like 109. 300, that to me that would make me feel really good. The problem is we're heading into a holiday, so I don't know what that's going to look like because holidays are tricky. All right, so let's take a look at the indicators though. So on the hour chart, look, this V pattern here, this was beautiful. I didn't honestly expect it. I was watching a guy, Mitch is what he goes by on YouTube. Really respect this guy. His TA is super on point, not like me. I'm a noob with TA and stuff, so I'm just more of trying to figure out where I think the sentiment of Bitcoin and possibly where it could flow to. But he was saying that because of the rejection, right, and being rejected twice, that I just didn't feel really good about it. But this was as Bitcoin was kind of like going down yesterday, right? So then there was this complete reversal. And one thing I was looking at was the MACD on the 4 hour. Trying to correlate it with the 1 hour, but really the 4 hour and above. And the 4 hour did look pretty red as it was going down, but it had been kind of extended a little bit. So I said, there's a slight chance that this could reverse. We'll see if this continues up though. You can see here, the MACD looks pretty good on the hour chart. It does look like the blue leading MACD indicator line does look like it wants to tilt up. It's definitely has a little curvature to it. So that's a good sign. It did look like it was exhausting here, 6 a.m. this morning, but then we did have that reversal, right? So this is actually a really cool pattern. It looked like we were going to possibly break down, but we had this continuation uptick here. So let's kind of pull in the support and resistance levels here. All right, I'm going off of data that is going to pull us back to 4 a.m. this morning. Let's open this up a little bit and bring it down here. I'm going to just pull in right there. Okay, cool. All right, the price point that we're at right now at this 108,500, we are showing some pretty strong support here. No shock. I mean, we have been in this up only trajectory here on the hour chart, but you can see the support is, surrounding the price level that we're at. Above it and below it, but then we do see some resistance here at 108,400. So if we do break down below here, we see some sell-off, then possibly we can trickle down a little bit more. But again, we have support levels here as well, here, and here as well. It doesn't get back to really resistance, taking back control until A very long way down here, man. Honestly, like, so we do look pretty solid. There's just one level to where it kind of bounces back a little bit, but it's like we look pretty solid here, honestly. And I'm going to give you some more confirmation. So the hour chart's telling me, hey, this wants to continue. And also the fact that like it did attempt to break above 108 this morning about 4 times and could not hold until that fourth time. The fourth time it did, to me, I was like, okay, we have changed the momentum here a bit, right? The tricky part is 4th of July, Friday, but we still have the rest of Wednesday and Thursday to have some bullish days here. So, all right, and maybe 4th of July will be bullish. And then, like Shizzy said, those TradFi guys will be kind of FOMOing. We'll see. All right, let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart, to me, is a really good setup that gives confirmation, in my opinion, to the hour chart that we just saw. Look, so this extended sell pressure lasted, and it was brutal. It was pretty brutal because it was kind of like it wanted to go up, but it kept bleeding it whenever it would come down. But we finally got our first true, like, strong green candle here. It still could be a lot bigger. We'll see if it plays out for the rest of today. But yeah, so the 4-hour chart looks really good. It did, the Bollinger Bands opened up here, but we worked our way back, right? So we'll see if we have a little bit of chop, or if it stays open. Maybe it stays open, we have this aggressive pull up here. That would be really good if we can start, this buy pressure is starting to build up pretty strong. The 4-hour chart, I do need to see kind of that next candle, probably 2 candles. So the next 8 hours is going to give us a lot of information and data to say, okay, heading into the holiday, we could possibly be knocking on the door of a new all-time high. Who knows? That could happen. So 4-hour looks really good, in my opinion. Let's take a look at the daily. The daily is another chart that we have kind of redeemed ourselves with. It looked like it was going to exhaust here on the MACD. We did have a reversal. You can see this little blue line kind of dipped down and now curved back up here. So I hope this continues here because, this is a really strong daily candle right here. I mean, look at this bad boy. Maybe we get something here. We replicate something here. We get up here to maybe 110, 111. That would be amazing to end the day. I think that might be a little too aggressive on the upside, but who knows? We've seen obviously stronger aggression up and down, but we'll see if this continues. So daily looks good. Let's take a look at the weekly. Weekly probably needs a couple more days of strong buy pressure, getting back to that all-time high, knocking on the door there. Then I think we'll kind of break back up here and start that buy pressure again. So weekly looking good as well for Bitcoin. Let's move to the others chart. Others chart is showing kind of like a tail reaction, right? So we need to see Bitcoin really thrive here, hit an all-time high. I would be super happy heading into the weekend, Saturday or something, with like a 112 to 115 Bitcoin price, and then we'll start to see some action here. Ethereum's obviously going to look good at that point as well. But yeah, others chart, everything besides Bitcoin in the top 10. We just need a little bit more time to see what Bitcoin goes, and then we'll see this either tail Bitcoin continually on the upside. It is a little bit weaker whenever it tells it, unless Bitcoin gets hyper aggressive. Then we'll see a little bit of aggression to the upside here on the others chart as well. All right, let's take a look at the crypto bubbles on the daily. Looks amazing. I always get stuck on the top 200 because that's the last one I always look at the day before. But let's go to the top 100 here. Look,
wow.
When memes are hot, that's a good sign. We got SPX up 11.2%, Bonk up 6.5%, Dog with Hat up 5.9%. What else do we see here? Where's our guy? Fart Coins got to be up probably 9% or something. Flocky's up 5.6%. Trump is only up 1%. That's a little bit of a shocker there. Pengu is up 5.3%. All right, where is Fart Coin?
I'm not sure I'll find it too. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. It might. Oh, there it is. Fartcoin's only up 0.8%. Weird. That's very weird. It's typically a leading indicator here. All right.
Scary for tomorrow, honestly. Not gonna lie.
A little bit. We'll see. You got Maple utility. Maple up 7.1%. Cardano up 5.7%. Arrow up 5.3%. Near up 3.5%. You got Quant up 4.6%. Render up 4.9%. All right, let's take a look here at the top 200 or 100 through 200 here. Useless up 50%. That's weird. Plume.
That's what my wife calls me.
25.3%. You got Popcat up 8.4%. What else do we have here? Where's our guy Dog? Dog probably had a bounce back, I would imagine. 8
8%
up
far left.
Okay, cool. Ape up 3.9%, dog up 8%. As you can see here, that's a strong bounce back here for dog. Starknet up 3.6%. Layer Zero up 4.3%. And RuneCoin. I forgot what that chain is the name of that chain.
Oh, that's on Thor chain.
Thor, yep. Thor over here. Eigenlayer up 6.8%. You got Mog up 8.2%. Yeah. So looking pretty good for the overall alt market, guys, and Bitcoin.
Yeah. Let me show you one chart real quick that I've been looking at over the last couple of days. So this is the monthly chart for Bitcoin. And I just want to show you this real quick. So remember last summer, right? We kind of just went, March, April, May, June, where it was very sideways up until about October. But look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then explosion. And then let's go till today, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then explosion. I mean, it's looking very similar to what we dealt with last year. I mean, you can't tell me that they're not very similar. I mean, you did see a bigger dump here, but maybe not because the candle is pretty down low. I mean, it looks pretty identical, dude, to what we've seen last year.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good, especially with the expectations. We just probably need a little bit of help, right, from the Fed, and I think we'll be in some bullish environment.
Yeah, and look, see this candle right here. It got so close to being the all-time high that we originally saw, and that's kind of similar to what we've seen here, but now we're over. So this could be, we could see this, dude, this month. We could see this God candle right here, very similar here, taking us to 130, 140.
By the way, let me share my chart real quick here. But I mentioned to start us off, I said, this is that level we got to break through. Yeah. As we were talking, Bitcoin said, okay, hold my beer. And it looks like it wants to knock on it, right? Ooh. So the first attempt here looks like, it wicked up to this level. And a little quick rejection, but we'll give it the entire hour candle, right? So we'll see if this can break above. If it does break above and gets to 109, it's attempting it again. 109, 200 to 300. To me, that's a really good sign because we have broken through kind of these levels of resistance previous, right? And that would be a good sign heading into the holiday weekend.
Let's go, man. All bullishness today, guys. All bullishness. But let's jump into the roll call here. So every day we like to find the first comment on YouTube and put him on a little chart here. So today is Webdro. Congratulations to Webdro. You, my friend, have win number 28 on the year. You're in second place, still above Danny Boy. Danny Boy is 26, so you have 28 here. And then Lackey Lukey has 32. So you guys are still in the running. Lackey Lukey has been killing it. He got 3 days in a row, but you, my friend, broke his streak and have your win. Congratulations to you, my friend. I do want it to be a close battle. I don't want Lackey Lukey to run away with it, but Webdro was 202 and Lackey Lukey was 203 yesterday. So I guess you posted at like 2 o'clock. And these guys were neck to neck there. But congratulations to Webdro. Maryland Lucky was right there. Congratulations, Maryland Lucky. Mats is here. Shout out to Mats. Hydro Sapien, our guy. Congratulations again to you, man. You won the Fluid Pass. I'll ask you for your address. Or if you wanted to jump the gun, you can actually just send me your address on X at Shizzy OnChain. That actually helped me just send it out right away. But yeah, shout out to you, my friend. You're here. Seek Eternal is here. He's Seek More Bitcoin. I love that. I love that. Greater Sats is here. I think it's the first time I've said Greater Sats. He said Explosion, but thank you so much for being here today. X equals I equals X is here. He said Hustle. Yeah, Agent Hustle is live, guys. Officially the official token. They were the TNSR test token, and now they're officially Hustle. Webdro is here. Bitcoin is Truth is here. Abstract, Chips and Dip, K99, Spindrift, Vader Time, and then Superfan, GM. Shout out to Superfan. We love that guy here. Appreciate you, my friend, and Big Noodle. Sounds weird to say out loud, but we appreciate you and your Big Noodle. Malam Yuri is here. Hydro Sapien said, wow, 100%. Thank you. Yeah, man, you deserve it. All you got to do is join that community. If you guys want to be a part of that tomorrow, go over to the OnChain at OnChain Rev account and just hit that community button. It's pinned to the top there. So, and then I will enter your name under the wheel tomorrow. And Hydro Sapien wasn't on the wheel yesterday. So he was one of the newer people to enter the community, and he was put on the wheel, and he won. So anyone can win that. KDN is here. Shout out to KDN. Stan. He says, does the channel have a preferred wallet for BTC Botonics Bridge. So I use MetaMask. That's my EVM wallet of choice, right? Is it the same year?
Yeah, it's just I think you get comfortable with it and stuff like that. That doesn't mean that it won't change, but like in terms of there's not one specifically EVM wise for the channel. Obviously, like Tokyo is the one we use for the UTXO and environment, but MetaMask is typically has all the options and stuff for the new chains.
But the preferred wallet is Tokyo.
Yeah,
but I mean they're all in Cardano and Bitcoin right now. Cash Cats is here with the coffee and the donuts and the dog go to the moon. Shout out to Cash Cats, my guy. Appreciate you, my friend. Justin is here. He says, what's poppin'? What's up, Justin? Appreciate you being here today. Stan, he said, in the channel's opinion. I love how he says the channel's opinion. Stan, we're two separate people. Like the channel is Yagobi, but I mean, we have different opinions on a lot of different things. He said, in the channel's opinion, do the masses care about decentralization? So I know Yagobi's going to say here, I'm going to go the opposite route, and I think people do care about
the masses.
I mean,
that's mainstream. That's like society.
Well, I care about these issues.
Okay, so but I don't think you're a part of the masses. Me and you and the people listening to it. But eventually people that listen to the show, let's say like 2 years down the line, that masses will start to come in. But like we're in a niche kind of still mindset. Yeah. So that's why I always say, like, no, the masses don't care. And I think the products that are being built for the masses are the ones that are going to have the highest ceiling.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. The centralized products are always. I mean, look at Solana. It's the most used blockchain in the world, and it's the most centralized. So, Stan, if ETH is restored, RL2 is an option. Restored.
Yeah, he's saying basically like a lot of volume on it and stuff like that, But when we're talking about the success of Ethereum, it's not necessarily what the success in the past was. Like entities and large institutions buying Ethereum and staking it is way different experience than what most people used in 2020 and 2021. Shizzy and I were degenning on there being dummies and spending $150 to $400 on gas. But to be fair to us, they were like $6,000 to like $15,000 like transactions. No, that's still not smart. but at the end of the day, but that was our first experience, of it. That's I don't think that will probably ever come back. Not in 100%. That same scope of experience. And so I do think L2s are going to be a big part of the Ethereum ecosystem for the long-term future.
And ETH doesn't need 1 million transactions on a day to be successful. ETH just needs a large money trading on there. ETH just needs the TVL to rise. And I think that's going to be ETH's biggest thing that's going to happen is that they're going to have trillions of dollars of TVL on the chain. It got to go somewhere, and ETH's the safest place. Chief Axel is here. He said, Rocket, Square, Heart. Shout out to you, my friend. Thank you so much for being here. Somewhat OG. Cash Cat said, I'm a permabull dog. And then Matt's finishing off with the Agent Hustle FTW. But thank every single one of you guys who makes roll call each and every day. Really appreciate your comments, guys. We need more comments. Put some comments in there for sure. But let's jump in to our next segment of the day. So we are lucky enough every Wednesday to have the great guys from Sats Terminal join the show. Sats Terminal, they are building the one-stop shop aggregator. If you guys go and buy any runes or any alkanes, make sure you guys are doing it at Sats Terminal. Basically, what they're doing is they're an aggregator. So they're finding you the number one price. They're checking Magic Eden for you. They're checking DotSwap for you. They're checking RuneStacks for you to make sure that you guys can just go to one site and get all the data you need to make the cheapest place. And we just found out they're actually cheaper to buy dog on Sats Terminal. You actually get 2 to 3% more for your buck than if you were to go to Kraken. So if you guys are buying dog, make sure you guys doing it on Sats Terminal. Without further ado, let's bring in the CEO of Sats Terminal, my guy. What's up, man? We got Stan joining the show. What's up, Stan?
Yo, what's up? How's it going?
It's going well. Bitcoin looks like it's ready to, kick things off heading into like a holiday weekend, at least over on the States. And looks like it wants to possibly challenge that previous all-time high. What do you think? Do you think it's possible in the short term?
It's inevitable.
Oh, I love it. Not only is it possible, it's inevitable. I love it.
No, 100%. I mean, like, there's so many bullish news. Like people are just, we are focused on Bitcoin, right? We are always looking like what's happening with dog or what's happening with ordinals, what's happening here. But if you like zoom out and look what's happening like outside of the Bitcoin space, it's just crazy. Like Bitcoin, like BTC news are extremely bullish. I don't know, like every day I'm reading, like we had the Stablecoins Act last week. We had Genius Act. Then I saw rumors that Trump wants to cancel capital gain tax on crypto. Then there was another paper that they signed recently. Also, more
bill.
Yeah, the beautiful bill. Then they want to cut. Yeah, I read it literally today. I think the Vance gave the last vote, the deciding vote, 51-50. But yeah, money is coming. $3.3 trillion. Money is coming. They want to cut the rates. Macro situation is getting a little bit better. Like we did not get hit with Iran like last time. I don't know if you remember. It was like I think it was 2 years ago. Iran did a big attack. Bitcoin went 20% now.
Keep talking, Stan. Keep talking. 109,200.
Pumping the price, man.
Oh wow! No, I mean it's breaking all-time high. I'm not sure if just right now. I'm not a big I don't want to play like I'm predicting the currency rate or something. But overall, it's just so bullish. You can't deny it. It's so bullish. It's incredibly bullish. Even like I'm not sure what about the alt season. I was reading a lot about that today. Like I'm not sure will it happen or no, but like there's definitely high season for Bitcoin, like nonstop.
Yeah, I do think the alt season is going to happen. You have really respectable people like Tom Lee coming out and saying, "Hey, look, Ethereum has a big opportunity here." Obviously, we all agree, I think, including Tom Lee, that he might be pivoting from a business standpoint, but he even said himself, "Gold, Bitcoin is the gold of our industry. It's the top of the top." But we'll see what happens with that. Now, talking about the Bitcoin assets, which you guys are heavily involved with. Do you see, let's say like alts aren't Ethereum pops, but not necessarily like a lot of those like mid to like micro caps that did last cycle. How do you view Bitcoin assets though? Like not Bitcoin, but Bitcoin assets that live there. Do you think they benefit from a Bitcoin, $150,000 to $200,000 Bitcoin?
It's a great question. Well, I think like simple answer, yes, because if the price of the main asset is going up, there will be more people that would make money. So there will be more risk appetite. And the people that made money with Bitcoin, they might think, oh, let me explore where I can put money. And then if it's an inexperienced trader, he would look into Solana, meme coins, read about all the rug pulls and the terrible situations happening with those meme coins. Then they might research and find dog and the other runes, which are legacy Bitcoin tokens, and they might want to ape into that. But it's like I think there's definitely a positive effect all the time. I mean, as an aggregator, we see it, right? Like our volumes go up when there is a big surge in Bitcoin price, especially buy volumes.
So yes, and speaking of that, I would love to know some information. So last week we had the big Kraken listing of dog, the much anticipated, much awaited. I'm curious of what happened potentially in the back end in that, right? Did you guys see inflows happening before that, outflows after? I'm just curious what happened on chain.
Well, I can say that we saw a lot of activity. That's probably all I want to say. We saw a lot of activity. We saw a lot of users. People are interested. They are looking into runes more actively. Transactions are happening. Obviously, there was a big surge of buy transactions before listing. It's like I don't even need to say that. Everyone understands that.
Was there new wallets signing up? Were you guys seeing new activity from brand new wallets that you guys never seen before?
I can check. I'll check, but I will not be sharing the screen. But I can check. Gotcha. I can say that well, the acceleration between, so if you measure from end of May to end of June, which exactly the period of Kraken listing announcements and back and forth, it took like about 3 weeks. If we compare the same period from April to May, we have like 250% increase in new wallets, new users.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's a really good sign, especially for runes.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, people are not only going there to trade runes, but to earn Amber. That's obviously something that's been a great incentive for people as well, to just go over there, connect their wallet and swap for some runes, and you get 1,000 Amber right away. Let's kind of hit on Amber a little bit. You've said yourself that Amber is kind of like the give back to the early adopters of SATS Terminal. How is that looking, the campaign? And like, what would you say is like the best advice you could give someone? Obviously, you can't give them financial advice, but like to get started with Amber.
Yeah, well, just go add your wallet, start transacting. You'll get like, if you complete like the first couple of quests, you already get a bunch of Amber, and just buying, selling. I think it's like, if you go right now and you just do one swap, just buy a little bit of dog, buy a little bit of pops, buy a little bit of I need to check, but we got a bunch of other projects participating in the campaign. You can find those posts in our SATS Terminal Twitter account. But you buy any of those tokens, you enter the raffle. We already have quite a big bag of tokens in the raffle. We're giving a lot of Amber, so it's like, it's not a financial advice. It's just like, go do it, do one transaction, get a chance of winning money, the winning tokens that you can pretty much just sell, buy Bitcoin or whatever. Just keep your runes and also have a lot of Amber. So I think that's the easiest way to do it. And I can say that I know personally a couple of people that are into farming Amber big time. And I actually met even someone here in Spain who told me, hey, I'm your like power user. I think I was telling that story 2 or 3 weeks ago in your podcast, that I met like someone who's actually trading Amber. But yeah, don't be a not smart person, be a smart one, be a wise man. Yeah, go do one transaction at least. You'll enter the raffle. It's always great to have a chance to. I personally like lotteries. I never won, but I like the concept. Do
100%.
it.
And if you're gonna do it anyway, if you're gonna go buy runes or anything, it's stupid not to come here. Like, for instance, this is my one of my wallets, because I got like a bunch of different wallets here. But this wallet is ranked number 160. I've over 10,000, and I didn't do any big trades with this wallet, Stan. I did very small trades. This is kind of like my test wallet, right? Like, I'm just testing in, testing out, and I'm ranked 160. So technically, I'm the number 160 biggest holder of Amber. And who knows what that's going to be, but I've completed some quests here. Like my first trade, I got 1,000. I linked my Discord. I referred a friend, which was my other wallet. Sorry, Stan, but I referred myself. And then my early adopter bonus, right? So I'm just kind of like just messing around, and I'm easily number 160. So there's a lot of opportunity there.
Wait, how much Amber do you got?
I have 10,000. Hold on, I'll tell you right now.
I'm gonna catch you.
10,147. But this is my one wallet, bro. I got others.
Oh, no, I got 6,000. I'm on your tail, but like I've made some pretty big ones. But I need to do the smaller ones that add up too. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. I want to ask you, Stan, because we've had some conversations kind of off camera about the I guess direction that the Bitcoin ecosystem could possibly head into. You travel all across the globe to different conferences, so you get to meet so many different builders. Everybody wants to partner with SATS Terminal, but the conversation went kind of like, okay, memes are pretty hot. Well, dog is really hot in terms of runes, and then you have some other strong community memes. Then we started talking about utility stuff. You kind of seem like utility is needed. Do you feel like the Bitcoin ecosystem space is going to focus more on that in the next 6 to 12 months, or do you think it's still going to be heavily meme focused?
Well, it's also a good question. What I can say is that I'm noticing that there is definitely some movement happening on the utility side, and we were discussing it off the camera, right?
Yeah.
We were talking about like an anticipated TGE that's happening for one of the projects. We were discussing a little bit about Liquidium, that I think guys are doing amazing stuff, like especially with their new product that they were announcing, sort of teasing in Vegas. You would be able to make Liquidium tokens as a reward, which is great. It's a real utility. I think it's needed, and I think it's important, because if you have, like, let's say, it's like a situation after the rain, you go to the forest, you have a bunch of mushrooms pop up. Same. People will go and harvest all of that stuff. So we need those mushrooms to pop out. Like, we have 1 or 2 or 3 projects. I think there would be more projects in this space doing utility, even if, like, in a, even if you think about it like long term, maybe that's not the most sustainable like utility for the token, but we need to have that flow of the tokens. If they would be coming to ecosystem, we'll be getting more eyeballs, people who want to farm, people who want to do something with those tokens. So I think utility is very important, but no doubt that meme coins will be dominating the market, like no doubt.
Yeah. So it's the fact that, okay, so what you're saying is memes are still going to be obviously a big part of like the Bitcoin ecosystem community and power, but having the utility projects along the side of the meme communities and stuff will give more, I guess, like more foundation to the ecosystem, builder ecosystem is what I'm kind of hearing.
Yeah. I think like builders, and I think that I'm not sure if I was talking about that on Ordinal's show like 2 or 3 weeks ago. There is hundreds of dormant builders here, like hundreds, honestly, so many people. I'm seeing right now like a lot of projects that were like people were building those projects like a year ago or a couple of months ago, and only right now they're popping up with like big releases. So like we see maybe 10, 20, 30, 40 companies, but in fact there are like hundreds of builders. They're just dormant, like a little bit better market conditions, and boom, space blew up.
When you say space blow up, you mean space blow up like with builders coming back online and the product?
Yeah, like I mean, I believe that there, if there would be like more use cases, if we would think a little bit more out of the box for the Bitcoin space, there would be more opportunities happening. Like if everyone would be thinking, okay, I can go to Bitcoin space and launch a rune, and it would be a meme token, while 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 10 places, up to top 15 are already legacy runes, legacy meme coins. How would you compete with them? Yeah. Maybe if you pump money, okay, fine, but it's not sustainable. I think if we think a little bit broader, and if we bring a little bit of utility, that's where we can get like real users. People would see, oh, this is actually a financial instrument. I can make money with this.
Yeah. I could definitely see that happening too. Let's just say like Bitcoin goes up to 115, 120. You're seeing a lot of these products that are being built, but they're not out yet, right? Because they're building them in the silence because it's not the right market conditions to push. And then we could see potentially 9, 10 projects launch all at the same time because they feel like the time is right. And what that's going to do, that's going to create real FOMO for a lot of people, because now we have a lot of new builders, who've been building for a while, just in silence, actually out, and their products are out, and it's going to create a lot of FOMO from people on the outside.
Yeah. And one thing too is like, what I think what he's saying also is that like the utility builders right now, they're all infra builders. They're all building for infrastructure only. And then you have your meme communities. And like on Solana, people are constantly launching because you have a gamified builder that built Pump Fund or launch pads and stuff. We don't have that type of gamified builder ecosystem yet. But that I think will come with time, like Shizzy said, but we'll see. Cool. So in terms of updates that are coming, SaaS terminal, I feel like there's a lot of stuff coming. There's some stuff that you can't talk about. I know that, but is there anything that you can talk about that the audience can get a little bit like excited for?
What we can be excited for? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we're building and we're planning to release. I think at one of the previous podcasts, I think Rishab or John Cyclops were talking a little bit about the borrow product that we're building. We were talking a little bit about the bridge product that we're building. They are already in like alpha versions. We are prioritizing bridge. We're prioritizing borrow over bridge. We also have a secret project, sort of like a consumer app that is already live on App Store, and we plan to start working on some of the marketing there. There's a lot of stuff happening, but it's still in that stage that I would want to work on it and then come back and then share the screen, show, hey, you can click in the let's go together and check the app, let's go together and check the borrow aggregator. Still in progress. It's still in progress because it's massive products. And aside of that, what I think we can say is that we finished Unisat integration. We will go live today with a video. Everyone could see our beautiful mascot Ricky buying alkanes through the Unisat, and that would be one of the routes added along with ID Club. So whenever you go to SATS terminal, you're straight away looking into platforms, so it doesn't make sense to go individually to ID Club or Unisat. You just go to SATS terminal, you get the same amount of tokens, and you pay the same fee, but it's just easier swap experience that you have with us. And we are waiting for Oil Corp guys to finish their AMM. Shout out to Oil Corp. Send me the docs, guys, please. Don't fade SATS terminal. Put it on the reminder. Send it to us, and I think we will integrate it fairly quickly because. Yeah, it's actually a fun fact. Like with Unisat, what we did, we got the docs, and I think we got them at something like 1 a.m. my time, and then by 1 p.m. we had them already integrated. So we did it like in 12 hours, and we are on the front line of all of the innovation that is happening in terms of new platforms popping up, in terms of new infrastructure. We are testing all of that. We're testing a lot of cool things on the back end with different partners, and it's a lot of stuff on the day-to-day basis. But the user itself, he sees only like big releases. But of course, there are so many things happening in the background. Like you change one provider to another. You make sure that you have a better prices fit. You have a better order execution. Things are loading faster. Those are small tweaks, and we're adding them pretty much every single day.
So real quick, I just want to clarify something. So you said that you guys are integrating Unisat. Could you kind of go into what that is? Because Unisat, they have a marketplace for alkanes. Are you guys aggregating from there, or just the Unisat wallet can now buy alkanes?
No. Yeah, that's a good question. So we aggregate the marketplace, but wallet is integrated. If you use Unisat wallet, just go ahead, connect it to SATS terminal, do transactions. But we added the marketplace itself. So now, let's say you want to buy any alkane, Fartan, Metan, Diesel, B, Alchemist. You go to SATS terminal. We would pick whether it's better to buy through Unisat or through ID Club. And I hope that this month we'll also add AMM from Oil. And I think that would be a beautiful experience. It would be pretty much the same as with Runes. You would be able to not instantly, let's say, but very fast, the fastest way to buy and sell these tokens online.
And I was in the space last night with the oil walk. It was really weird. I was going through my timeline and I saw a space oil walk. There was 12 people in the space, and it was with the two heads of Oil Corp, and they were talking in there, and they said potentially in the next 14 days they should have their decks out. So that was really bullish. But I was thinking in my head, I was like, wow, the space is really dead. There's only 12. This is the two biggest people of alkanes speaking to each other, and there's only 12 people in the space. Pretty nuts. But they did say potentially, the one guy said we should have it out next week, and the other guy came in and corrected him. He said, no, like 14 days. So it could be the next 7 to 14 days we could see this alkanes AMM smart contract AMM actually live, and you guys can take full advantage of that.
Well, You know, like with 12 people in the spaces, I think like 1 week it's 12 people, next week it's 120 people.
Yeah.
It always fluctuates. Like sometimes it's a little bit more quiet week, sometimes it's a little bit more heated one, and it comes and goes. But again, like all we see is the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more people dormant, like building, looking into this.
I took it as like it was so impromptu. Like it wasn't scheduled, nothing. They just popped up on a space and just started talking to each other. And that's kind of what I meant by that. It was just like they just wanted to have a conversation. And
that's the way
and also remember, like a huge chunk of their user base is Chinese as well. So it's like, you know, different time zones and all that great stuff. I mean, like they've been under the limelight for the last, I would say, a month and a half. So I'm expecting big things from them. Quick question back to your, you know, features that you're going to be offering in the future. Like you said, something about borrowing. We don't have to get into super detail about that, but are you guys looking to maybe like spread the Amber campaign to those products as well, or is that going to be just separate for the aggregator?
No. It's for the product that we are building, they would be under, of course, SATS terminal umbrella, and it will be all interconnected. And we will definitely have some incentives for early adopters of those products and those features. But whether that would be Amber, I don't know. I think, like I mentioned that multiple times, and it's still the case, is that Amber is here right now, but it will not be like all of the quests and all of the generosity, let's say, with Amber. It will end in the mid of September. And of course, we might launch more incentive campaigns, but maybe that would not be Amber, but that would be some other precious material, which would be a little bit less valuable in how we see it. So again, like in my perspective, like the best answer is that Amber is the indicator of that early user. Whatever happens after that, it would be, you know, second wave of the users per se, like third wave, fourth wave.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense there. I just want to let you know, I do have the Ricky video with Unisat. Do you want me to play that, or do you want to hold off on that?
Sure, no, let's do it.
All right, let's play this Ricky buying some Alkanes, I believe, with Unisat. So let's check it out here. I'm gonna have to pull Shizzy down there and bring me back up, or bring Ricky, I should say. All right, let me know if you guys can hear it.
I'm gonna earn some more Ambers, so I think I'm gonna buy some Alkanes. Fatty pea balls. All right, I'm gonna buy some of them. Wait, what? Unisat now has Alkanes, and it's aggregated through SATS terminal. Let's fucking go.
Shout out Ricky, man. Shout out Ricky. That's really cool.
Awesome. Yeah, so whose voice is that? And like, do you guys alter it, or do you have like a little midget that works at the I'm just kidding.
No, we altered that. Yeah, we altered that. That's Cyclops.
Okay.
Awesome. That's his creative energy.
Shout out Cyclops, man. But Stan, this has been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for joining us, man. Every single Wednesday. Appreciate you. But we'd love to give you stage one last time and talk to our audience.
Yeah, guys. So the most important thing I want to share with audience is that, again, go check out the Ember campaigns. Do that one transaction. Don't rob yourself of a chance of winning money. And the people that generate volume on the desired pairs, the pairs that in our campaign, you can find all of the info in our X page. You will just enter the raffle. It's a very good chance you win something because we give prizes for top 10 people, and you would get tokens and you get Amber. So definitely do that. It's a great opportunity to win something. And aside of that, I really hope that either next week or in 2 weeks, I would be able to show some of the products, especially on the borrow side here. I think that would be also very much interesting for some of the high net worth individuals and people that are working in some high-profile businesses and companies that are willing to utilize their Bitcoin that is sitting just in their wallet. I think that would be a very interesting product to highlight. And yeah, thanks again for having me, and see you next week.
Appreciate it, Stan.
Bye. See you, buddy. Yeah, man. Absolutely awesome. As always, appreciate him. I mean, guys, you guys have an opportunity to speak to the CEO every Wednesday. Just put your comments in here. And so next week, guys are more prepared for that for sure. But he said high net worth individual. I hope I'm a high net worth individual one day.
Well, I don't know. You got 10,000. You got 10,000 Amber. So maybe
I do.
Maybe that was. I'm gonna beat you in this one, man. I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna
We'll
go back.
Dude,
Yeah.
I got another wallet that's in the top 50. But,
Well, we're playing single wallets.
all right. But I got some more stuff here if that's cool.
Yeah.
Find out where we left off. So Chinese firm Webus secures $100 million to buy Ripple XRP. What do you think about this, dude? The Chinese are like, no, we're good with the Bitcoin. We're good with the Ethereum. We're gonna go XRP for our treasury strategy. I don't know. I feel like the Chinese are always like, they just want to be different.
Oh, I don't know, man. This is interesting. Where does that stop, right? Like we've seen the I don't know, man. We've seen the Bitcoin, we've seen the Ethereum, we've seen Solana too. Solana was in a couple, like I think there was only a couple stories, but they've been acquired for their Solana reserve. Some entities. Now we're seeing XRP. You know, does it go to Doge? Does Doge actually happen? I mean, yes, Dog had one that was pretty cool, but that's like at a small level, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. This is different for sure, but it also shows that this Chinese entities, they're not dumb. They're they're pretty smart. So maybe they're expecting a decent sized growth with XRP. We'll see.
Yeah, man. Stable launches the first ever stable chain. A dedicated out layer 1 powered by USDT. It offers ultra-fast, low-fee payments with native USDT gas and full EVM compatibility. What do you think about this, man? I actually seen this come in. A chain that you pay gas with USDT. What do you think about this?
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet. What is it going to be for? Just strictly like retail or something? I mean, it has to be
EVM. It's just your normal. It's just your normal thing. Instead of using Ethereum for the EVM, they're using USDT as a gas.
Cool. Is this a chain that Tether's creating, or man, they got so much stuff going on. I know they're not creating it now. You just told me, but what's the point? I guess.
Well, it's the first L1 that you're not using Sonic, you're not using Solana, you're actually using Tether. I don't know. It's I thought it was pretty cool, and I think they're gonna. I think when JP Morgan launches their chain, I think that it's going to be a stablecoin gas token. So that's there. But moving along here, global dollar, a stablecoin USDG. So there's going to be a new stablecoin that just enters the market, and this one is backed by Kraken, Robinhood, and Mastercard. Now available for over 450 consumers across 30 European countries. So this is the Robinhood is going to have a stable coin now. They just announced it, and it's going to be USDG. But it's also backed by Kraken and Mastercard.
Yeah. Oh man, there's just so much happening right now. It's like hard to keep up, isn't it? In a sense, obviously we go over the headlines every day, but I'm just saying, like, there's going to be a point where I feel like it's just like it's going to be like second nature to where like it's not going to phase us as much anymore. Like, oh, Mastercard joined this, and it's like mass adoption at that point, right? It's just now you're like your perception or your mindset changes a little bit and says, okay, now let's really look to see who are the next like huge companies that are going to just thrive in this new environment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%. But think about who's in this, right? Kraken, they have their new layer 2, which is Inc. Robinhood, they have their new layer 2. They're using Arbitrum to kind of roll up those transactions for them. And now they're going to have USDG as their stablecoin. So you're going to see USDG pairs on these changes. USDG could be a top 5 stablecoin very quickly because of the power of Kraken and Robinhood. And when you're trading on Kraken now, they're already saying that they're going to have LP pools for stocks, for the StockX, and they're going to be pairing them with this token right here, USDG. I don't know, man. This is something definitely to pay attention to. Should Circle be worried at all?
Well, I would normally say probably, just because like the Web3 space wasn't that big, but every day it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger because
Yeah.
these competitors are coming in, but they're not just coming in with just to try to suck every liquidity that we're used to. We're used to that. Like if there's a new like Web3 company like the Pump Funds or something like that, it's like, okay, they sucked a lot of liquidity out. These companies are here to bring business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what business is an exchange of liquidity. It's not just one way. I actually love that. And so do I think that Circle should worry? I think as in a regular business mindset, they should have their antennas up, but I also think that there's like more and more and more stable coins are going to be coming on chain, to where like there's, for the first time, I feel like there's going to be, in a long time, there's going to be more than enough liquidity to go around in our space, and it's going to be because of this merger and new business that's happening. It's going to be the fundamentals of business coming in, which we've needed for a long time.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just excited for a Tesla USDG pairing, like, you know what I mean, where and stuff like that. It's gonna be really cool to see, and then potentially you're gonna bring the entire stock market on chain. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
But there was a big move today with Bitcoin, and I think I found out why. So Binance open interest has reset. So this is an article from yesterday. I actually should have seen this coming, this move today, and should have took along because this was pretty obvious. So let me actually show you this chart here. So Binance open interest reset means many future contracts closed. Oops, show my screen. Many future contracts closed, reducing open positions. With fewer active trades, new orders can swing prices more sharply, making volatility more likely. That is exactly what happened today, and why we're over 109 is because the Binance open short interest it went negative. There was barely any trades there in the long opportunity, which caused a huge upward momentum. So that is kind of what caused it, right? The Binance open interest.
Yeah, we'll see how long it lasts for. I mean, so this kind of aligns to what we've been talking about. You know, yes, we had a little bit of hesitation. I did, I know. Initially, I was very confident that M2 Global was hitting hard. You know, I was like, I've tell me if I'm wrong here. I have said by the middle of July, I expect that 120 to 130. I say 115 sometimes. I try to give myself a little more leeway, but you know what I mean. And there was a moment whenever it crashed over the headline to where I lost a little confidence in that. But then the rebound kind of brought that back. And I was like, okay, let's see if the M2 does realign and it seems like it's starting to. So yes, I think that trajectory still makes sense. With this reset part, you know, this only helps, I think, that thesis. We'll see if it plays out. I'm not the type of person that's going to try to gloat and say, oh, I got this right. I got this right. I got this right. Maybe between me and you behind closed doors when we're arguing, but you know, in terms of like to the public, but it does feel good that all of us might've been right if we're, you know, using the M2 global supply and we're saying, okay, August or July, mid-July to late July, we should have this thrust up and then maybe a little pullback. And I'm hoping that happens here for everybody's sake, you know, everybody's bags and everything here.
Yeah, 100%. You know, but a huge reset in you know, people taking leverage is a big deal.
Yeah, open interest.
You know, yeah. So I'm curious to see what happens next, but we could be over on 12 potentially today. It's just saying this. So we'll see.
I would love that.
Ripple teams up with OpenPayd to deliver enterprise-grade RLUSD stablecoin and payment infrastructure. So again, back to the stablecoin thing. Ripple, they're getting involved heavily. They have an EVM chain now. That's not, you know, it potentially could be rolling up transaction and landing on RLUSD. But yeah, we'll see what happens from that. But any comments on that?
No, you know, I think there's going to be more headlines with RLUSD. That's something that they probably want to really strengthen and make more formidable and competitive in the stablecoin market. That's really competitive already, and there's a lot of opportunity there. They weren't able to acquire, you know, Circle, right, or and control kind of USDC that way. So this is their way of doing it and being competitive in that part, because they want to be in the stablecoin game, because that's Ripple's whole objective is to be kind of like that banking mindset in our space. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I expect more headlines like this.
Yeah, 100%. Trump Memecoin generated $324 million in trading fees, despite having no white paper, roadmap, or development team. So the Trump team they've came out and they said they've never sold one Trump token, but they've made $324 million in fees by just putting the pair up there together, right? It was USDC and it was the Trump coin. So the Trump family made $324 million off this coin without selling one coin.
Or is it the guy that owns the LLC and gives them a cut?
That is true. Yeah. It's the Fight LLC. Made $324 million. Yeah, that was great. That was good. 100%. Totally forgot about that. But yeah, because they're not but the Trump family, they are getting a cut from this as well.
Yeah. So whether that's a 10% cut, which is still pretty significant, $32 million for just using the likeness, right? Or whatever. That's a speculation, by the way, by me. I don't know what the percentage is. But
it was 50-50.
Was it? Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
That's great, actually. If you think about it, what $167 million? Oh wow,
yeah.
That's pretty awesome for them.
Yeah. So Trump himself it's not the Will Fi or anything like that. It's the Trump name 50-50 with the 5 Fight club there. So next thing here, Moody's partnered with fintech startup Alphaledger to pilot on-chain credit ratings on Solana, creating a tokenized bond with embedded credit scores. Think about that for a second. Credit scores are coming on chain.
Moody's, dude. Moody's is big when it comes to credit scores and those type of financial services and what was it called? The you know what I mean. But that's another headline that just gives us. Be ready, guys. I mean, just it's coming at us fast, and these are big headlines that people in our space don't even care about, probably because they're not going over the research like that, right? So if you're listening to the show, stay focused because this is going to happen more and more and more. Now, how do you take advantage of stuff like this? You just be ready for opportunities that might have a little hybrid, like TradFi style into it, but always. You always have the upper hand in the Web3 market, I feel like, until like the normies come over and you have the upper hand over them, the entities. But this is huge. I absolutely, I feel blessed to be in the position we're in.
Being in crypto now is like being in the stock market in like the early 90s, man. There's so much opportunity, man. We have 20 years potentially, 30 years potentially, 35 years of huge gains ahead of us. We're all in an area where we're going to make a lot of money just from being here. Speaking of making a lot of money, Michael Saylor's strategy is set to post over $13 billion in unrealized Bitcoin gains for Q2 2025. The company currently holds 500,970,000 Bitcoin, worth $63 billion. So think about this for a second. Michael's strategy was worth about $13 billion before it started buying Bitcoin. Now they have $63 billion in Bitcoin alone, not to mention stock. Pretty nuts to think about.
It is pretty nuts, but hey, look, he went through the ups and downs. He kind of earned it in terms of like the stress and stuff, and then having the raise and to be able to kind of double, triple, quadruple down on his strategy. So, you got to hand it to him that he got himself here right through obviously eventually through the channels of being able to leverage his company and stuff like that. But got to tip your hat.
This comes down to the thing of believe in something.
Yes.
Right? If you believe in something and you go all in, I mean, you're risking everything. Like he risked everything. MiCA-Strategy, if Bitcoin would have went down, MiCA-Strategy would be done. I mean, they'd still be a business, right? But they could have really destroyed their company and their reputation. But they went the opposite way for them. And I mean, it's pretty obvious bet, right? Bitcoin's going to go up forever because the dollar's trash.
Yeah, but is there something that you can compare a little bit on a way less smaller scale? Like way less smaller? Dog, maybe? You know what I mean? I'm just saying the people that kind of like put themselves out there all the time, like Leonidas and then Vincent, obviously, like I said, way tinier scale.
Yeah.
But Kraken also kind of that sounded really weird. But Kraken. but Kraken. But Kraken. They're kind of putting themselves out there on behalf of Dog, just branding with it and all that stuff. But yeah, obviously way smaller scale.
Well, speaking of way smaller and Dog, so as CT Blockchain Incorporated, that was great that you said that because you set this off. I was like, perfect. So it has officially acquired 3,600,000 Dog coins as part of our strategic reserve, strengthening our treasury with the dog of Bitcoin. So think about this is like about $15,000, right? So it's not like a ton of money, right? When I first saw like 3 million, I was like, oh wow, but then I was like, oh wait, no, 3 million dogs. But this is insane, though. This is a blockchain company, yes, but they're publicly traded. They are a penny stock, but they're on the stock. They're on the New York Stock Exchange, and CBLO is the ticker. But they've acquired dog for their treasury. Believe in something, and potentially this could 100x, right?
Yeah, believe in something for sure. And they did look, they're a publicly traded company. They put their name on the line as well and saying, hey, we acquired dog. Yes, $15,000 for the regular person. That's a good amount of money, but for them, they said that this is just the start, right? So they can add more.
Just the beginning. Yeah. And people in the comments are saying this was a test buy to make sure that they know how to hold it and everything and all that stuff, because it isn't easy to hold. It's not like Bitcoin, right, where there's a million hardware wallets. If you want to hold it in the cold storage, it's a little tricky. Right? You got to go a couple different routes. You can have a Unisat with a hardware wallet. So I just think that this was a test buy to make sure that they're able to hold it safely. So we'll see if the next buy is giant. But guys, that is our show for you guys. That'll be 180 people on YouTube and X, not to mention everyone on Twitch, Rumble, Abstract, Kick, and Spotify later. And we appreciate every single one of you guys every single day.
Absolutely, guys. Without you guys, we couldn't do this. We are so thankful for that. We just want you guys to know that. And then also, without our partners, we couldn't do it as well. So if you could check them out, man, we would greatly appreciate it. Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator for the Bitcoin ecosystem. We talked to Stan earlier, the CEO from Sats Terminal. If you're going to be swapping for runes in a DeFi way, you got to do it there. You can swap for all the runes there. Dog Go to the Moon, $1 billion cat, all the popular ones, Magic Internet Money. And I mean, comparable to like centralized exchanges, you're going to get 1% to 2% more of runes when you do it this way. Also, you're going to be able to earn Amber points. Amber points are huge. Like you heard them. It's a give back to the early adopters. It's not going to be here forever. So you want to take advantage of that right now. They're going to probably cut that off in September, maybe October at the latest. But if you connect your wallet for the first time, you get 1,000 points. That's a lot, because I've swapped quite a bit, and I have 6,000. And so, just go take advantage of that right now while you can. Like he said, be a smart person and do that. But if you're looking to swap for Alkanes as well, you can do so there. They support Alkanes, and they just added support for Unisat as well. So check them out at satsterminal.com. And then BetBTC is the predictions marketplace of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They utilize ICP and Bitcoin's tech stack to allow you guys to place bets in their markets, right? All you need is a Bitcoin wallet, some Bitcoin, and 6 Bitcoin blocks, and you can start placing bets in their blitz markets. Their blitz markets are a 10-minute clock continuous countdown to where you can lock in Bitcoin, BNB, or Solana's price. You got to pick, and then you can select if you think it's going to go up or down from that time. And then you get an additional 10 minutes to see if you were right or wrong. Be responsible with that. It is kind of a leverage and perps type of approach there, but in a fun, gamified way, right? There's also going to be features to where you can create your own markets and earn 1.5% of the total volume there. Awesome features coming to this platform, guys. Head over to betbtc.win to learn today. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer for the Bitcoin ecosystem on Bitcoin Layer 1. You're going to be able to jump your ordinals from Bitcoin Layer 1 to Ethereum, to Base Chain, Abstract, possibly Merlin, and Solana. You can take over your Taproot wizards right now to Ethereum, take a loan out against it on Gandhi. And eventually in the future, you can, more collections will come on board as well. But you're going to be able to use AI agent Hustle in the future once they add the BTC tech stack to their AI agent to help you do this. But for right now, you can use Hustle to help you in the Solana ecosystem. You can ask questions like, give me a couple safe 5x plays, and he'll come back with some results for you and give you reasons why he thinks that these will be successful with that. Also, they're going to be adding conditional trading to Agent Hustles platform. So make sure you check that out. If you have the Tensor token, the TSNR token, make sure you migrate that over to the Hustle token. They have the migration happening right now. This is going to help a lot of the token holders have a better, kind of healthier tokenomics for the project and kind of help grow the project. In general, you head over to migrate.fund to do that. Also, if you are a project and you launched on Pump Fund and you have no access to the liquidity pools or Believe Launchpad on Solana, you can reach out to their team and see how you can get access to the LP through migrate.fund. So make sure you check that out. Also, don't forget about their TGE for their Bitcoin Rune. That's going to be launching in September/October of this year. It's the main token for their entire ecosystem. You can go to OpenSea right now and participate in a pre-sale by purchasing one of these NFTs. If you search Founder Vault Keys, you can purchase one of these, and then whenever it comes to TGE time, they will give you guys instructions on how to get those runes into your Bitcoin wallet. All that information you can find at emblem.vision. And then Artura.finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. You're going to be able to trade synthetic Bitcoin fungible tokens like Dog Go to the Moon, Billion Dollar Cat, Ordi, Sats, and of course the popular tokens outside of the ecosystem like XRP, Tau, Ethereum. But if you're not into trading, you can still participate into their ecosystem by providing liquidity for their vaults, and you can earn passively there. But you're going to be able to earn XP if you trade or just do the vaults there. Also, another way to earn is, utilizing their chain partners like Botonics. They're about to launch live on Botonics. Botonics is live right now. Botonics is given a kickback in BTC. So that's really good opportunity for you guys to utilize that chain, as well as Hemi, Bitcoin Layer 2 as well, which they're going to be launching a little bit after the Botonics launch. And you're going to be able to earn points on Hemi as well. Head over to Artura.finance today. And then Fluid Tokens is the UTXO wizard devs of the Bitcoin ecosystem, as well as Cardano. They're building on both. On the Cardano side, you're going to be able to participate and earn Babel fees by adding liquidity to their Aquarium platform. And now on the Bitcoin side, you can actually participate in their Bitcoin Layer 1 staking vaults. They were the first to offer retail staking vaults on Bitcoin Layer 1. They already completed Dog Go to the Moon Season 1 and Season 2. They're getting ready for Season 3, which should go live at the end of this month or beginning of August. But if you participated in Season 2, make sure you claim your dog reward tokens along with the original tokens that you staked. You can do it all in one transaction there. Also for builders, if you need to airdrop runes or alkanes, I think it's going to be released a little bit later. Oh, it looks like it's released now. You can actually airdrop runes and alkanes to your community. It's really simple. There's two options. One, prepare it on a CSV file, which is a Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel file, or you can do it manually one by one. It's really simple. We've done it. We tested these features here, and you can it's really cost efficient and fast. So head over to fluidtokens.com today to learn more about those features. And then Tokyo Wallet is the multi-chain smart wallet. If you have an Apple iPhone, head over to the Apple App Store. If you have an Android, head over to Google Play. Download the app here. You can actually swap directly in the app for Bitcoin runes as they partnered with Sats Terminal. And you can swap for Cardano tokens as they partnered with Dex Hunter. So they partner with two different aggregators that support Cardano and Bitcoin. And they're going to be also supporting Sui very soon. So, if you're a Sui user, you can actually utilize this wallet as well. There's going to be a lot of features, guys, to earn Bitcoin in the future. So make sure you're following them on X and watching the show, because we'll update you once those features are available. But make sure you download the product. Let us know what you think about it. We'll give the feedback to the team. Head over to Tokyo.io and dig in there. And then Merlin Chain is uniting the Bitcoin strength with the power of AI, as you can utilize their 0.3 version Wizard AI. The Wizard AI can walk you through different DeFi functions. It can, swap for you, stake for you, and in the near future, it can give you research ability, right? So you can research different chains and tokens across the cryptoverse. So it's really exciting there. But speaking of staking, head over to merlinchain.io if you want to help participate in keeping the chain secure. There's 3 different options. You can stake Bitcoin. It maxes out at 100 Bitcoin. I believe we're at 65, so 35 more Bitcoin until it caps out there. You can earn between 8 and 21% APR. Now that locks you up until September 30th. So you just got to remember that. And then on the Merlin chain token side, you have two options. You have the flexible, which is a day-to-day. You can earn 15% APR that way. You can actually claim your rewards on a day-to-day basis. But when you do withdraw on the day-to-day, there is a 7-day processing period to withdraw your Merlin chain tokens there. And then you have the bonded option, which is a 6-month lockup period for your Merlin chain tokens, but you earn 45% APR, and you can claim those rewards on a day-to-day basis as well. Head over to merlinchain.io, dive in to learn more there. And don't forget about our integrated partners in Jungle AI, formerly Foxy AI, building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, as well as their first-person shooter game, Cypher Striker. And they added support to Bitcoin Derby as well. So check out those 3 products. And Ordinal Hive is the aggregator Ordinal marketplace, where you're going to find the cheapest ordinals around, Ordinal Hive, and they have amazing trader tools as well, guys. Thank you so much for checking out our partners. You guys are awesome.
Yep. Great job, man, as always. And we did have a couple comments here. Cash Cats with a fire and a fist. Shout out to you, my friend. He said, more entities will buy dog on for their books. I think so. Crypto Princess pops in with a couple bows. Thank you so much for being here, Crypto Princess. Cash Cat says, really enjoyed the stream and Stats Terminal rocks. Yes, sir, I agree. Katie Ann says, let's so Alkanes. Stan says, is there a reason why Web3 UX lags behind Web 2? I mean, there's plenty of reasons, right? Because there's just no money here yet, right? There's not a lot of people. You're going to see that change. You're going to see that change 100%. But guys, if you have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io, some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering space, please send them to our website. Really feel like it can help them get started and code up to where we are today. Definitely recommend this brand new article that just dropped, Tokenization and Equities, all about, the stocks coming online, guys. Get in here, learn before it's too late, guys. And like I said, send this to people, let them know that we have some of the best articles. And if you guys need a VPN, I highly recommend Nord. I use it every single day. I do not go to websites without it on because I don't want them having my IP address. My IP address could lead them to my address with my family here, and I don't want that. We're Bitcoiners at the end of the day. We like privacy. Privacy is a right of ours to have. So having a VPN gives you that privacy and gives you that respect that you're not just out there just giving your address away to people who could want to do harm to you and your family. Get a VPN today. And, those pesky sites that you go to that geo-block you for no reason at all, you can get around them with a VPN, put it to a country that is, more friendly, that they're being more friendly to. Definitely get a VPN today. And if you guys need merch for any event or just kind of lounge around at home, we got some new stuff here. We just added yesterday. If you go up to hoodies, I put this brand new dog hoodie on there with this cool dog image. We got angry dogs. We got Seiko hamster. We got so much, guys. Puka, Gizmo, Billy, Goosenals. I have a 401b. So much more here, guys. Check everything out here at OnChainRevolution.io. And guys, remember, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You're not bullish enough. No. You're not bullish enough. No. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed, gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.